Hey everybody, it's your boy Commando _Thorn 123. Today I'll be making a video of the Halo Noble team, and the game doesn't change. But I'm going to start it off by saying this is going to take a while, and so I hope you have your water nearby so you can drink your water and stay hydrated, because staying hydrated is important, and I have to take water breaks within a certain amount of time, everyone. So, anyway, let's start at the time of George arrives on the Covenant ship with the bomb. If I didn't say that already. Hurry up, will ya? George said. Noble 6 and the other Marines from the Sabres ran through the cannon area and took out an elite who was firing the cannons. And then Noble Team was not Noble Team, 6 and the Marines were able to get to the bridge and take out the grunts and elites sneakily. But one elite noticed that 6 was killing an elite. The elite grabbed his plasma rifle and started firing at the Spartan. 6 ran behind a pillar while the Marines shot the elite. The elite shot at the Marines, but his one mistake was to take his eyes off Noble 6, a Spartan. 6 jumped on the elite's back and took out his knife and sliced the elite's neck. 6 ran to the control panel and directed the ship's course. Good work, 6. Now get back here. Our ride's taking a beating, George said. 6 and the Marines were about to get out of the control room, but were delayed by a few grunts and elites. The Spartan and Marines took out the grunts and elites and ran back to the Pelican. 6 ran at a jackal and punched him and shot at a few of the elites. The Marines tried to fire against the increasing odds, but they weren't able to survive. George and 6 were the only ones who were able to survive the fight, but the Marines didn't. 6, meet me by the Pelican, George said. Noble 5 checked the timer on the bomb and set the timer. With this one change, 6 and George were able to jump off the Covenant cruiser and watch the Covenant ship blow up or implode. As George woke up, he got up and saw Noble 6 grabbing a magnum from his jetpack. George got up and noticed 6's arm was damaged, but not severely. 6 checked where they were and started walking to the city. The Spartans heard some cannon fire and rushed up the hill and saw the city being destroyed. George was horrified, hoping that there wouldn't be any more ships. 6 and George started heading towards the city when the two Spartans were by a bunch of dead people. George got down and said a few words for the 6 and George heard something on their comms. "Beware of suicidal grunts," a voice on the comm said, as George and 6 were entering a building, taking out a few jackals. All of a sudden, a grunt dropped his plasma pistol, and 6 pulled out his magnum and fired it at the grunt's head. Sorry. All of a sudden, a grunt dropped his plasma pistol and pulled out his grenades. The grunt ran to the Spartans, but 6 shot at the head of the grunt, making him drop the grenades. After the explosion, George and 6 moved in and gave 6 noticed a plasma pistol and gave the magnum to George, while 6 took the plasma pistol. The Spartans moved down the steps, checking for any more grunts. There were a few grunts, but being Spartans, the two cleared out the grunts with ease. The Spartans got out of the building and saw people and Marines were taking cover. 6 dashed for the assault rifle and tried to fire at the brutes in the spirit. 6 gave George some cover fire with the... George gave... Wait. 6 gave George some cover fire with the plasma pistol, and George gave... 6 gave George some cover fire with the Magnum. George gave back to 6. So the Magnum got brought back to 6. Sorry, everyone. I got way confused right there. I'm so sorry. A brute was holding a citizen, but 6 shot the brute, and that made the brute drop the citizen. George then pulled down the brute's head and kicked him in the face. The brute dropped the gun, and George picked it up as 6 and the Marines moved up. After the next wave of a brute and a few jackals came, the Spartans and Marines cleared them up. 6, go high, or go low, George said. 6 nodded and ran up the steps, slicing an unsuspecting grunt. 6 fired at the grunts and jackals and brutes. After the area was clear, 6 gave George the assault rifle. Since George held a minigun before, the assault rifle is about the same. If it's not, everyone, I am so sorry for calling an assault rifle and minigun from Halo about the same. 6 took the DMR and shotgun, and George had a Magnum and assault rifle. The Spartans, Marines, and citizens were finally at the elevator. Everyone saw spirits and phantoms that let out grunts, jackals, and brutes. The Spartans, Marines were holding back the Covenant forces, but a brute chieftain sent a Marine flying. George fired at the brute and it was getting too close to the citizens. When the brute charged at 6, George jumped on the elite and stabbed the brute's neck a lot. As soon as the brute chieftain was done, George switched the Magnum with the brute's gravity hammer. The Spartans got in the elevator and went to the first floor. Spartans, I hope you don't mind jumping with us, an ODST asked. Not at all, George replied to the ODST, getting a jetpack. And 6 and George jumped from platform to platform, firing at the Covenant with the ODSTs. 6 and George had 2 ODSTs with them, while other ODSTs were on the other side of the building. George gave fire on the right side of the crates, while 6 and the other ODST was on the left. 3 brutes jumped down, outnumbering the 4 troopers. 6 ran at the brute chieftain as the brute swinged at 6. The ODST that was holding a DMR shot the brute's helmet. 6 slid under the brute's leg as the bullets hit the brute's face, and then jumped on the brute chieftain's back, trying to getting a couple stabs at him. 6 then was able to finally take down the brute chieftain. 6 then was grabbed by a brute and was about to be thrown at the ODST, but a shotgun shell went off. 6 got up and saw a ODST behind a brute and shooting him, while George came up and extended his hand, which 6 accepted. The Spartans and ODSTs jumped to an entrance and made it to an area that had Marines firing. As soon as the jackals saw 6 and George, they reached. 6 grabbed the weapons he was used to. Okay, let me say it again. 6 grabbed the weapons he was used to, and George did the same. George took the head and took the lead and fired at any Covenant forces in his way, while 6 fired with a sniper and DMR on a ledge of a building to help George clear up the way. After the sniper and DMR's ammo was gone, 6 ran to George's position. 6 threw a few grenades at the Covenant troops, making them fly, taking care of the brutes and grunts that were holding a bridge and to the landing platform and the landing platform. It was a bit of a struggle, but after the brutes and grunts were taken care of, a Pelican landed to help the citizens. 6 and George got onto a Falcon and took off, and fired at any Covenant troops, at any Coveys and Banshees. I got citizens and families aboard. I need to take off, a transport pilot said in a worried tone. We're trying to figure something out, but you'll be the first to know, the corporal said. Not good enough. I need to go now, the transport pilot said as he took off. The transport was blasted and crashed into the water. George and 6 watched in horror. George saw Covenant trying to push back the UNSC, a group of UNSC Marines. So George fired the Falcon's minigun at the Covenant troopers, making them fall back. Thanks for the assist, Spartans, but we still need help. That Corvette's been a pain in my side for too long, the corporal said. George took the Falcon's minigun and walked off with it, while 6 took the Warthog and drove it to activate some defense turrets. The Spartans were able to take down the Covenant troops and get to the missile department and activate the missiles. 6 and George watched the last transport get away while they were being called. Noble 5, Noble 6, do you copy? Kat asked. This is 5. We read you, George said. We detected your signals about an hour ago, but couldn't make contact. What's your status? Kat asked. The last transport is away, George said. All right, I'm sending you a Pelican to pick you both up, Kat said. 6 of them pulled off the lid for a flare and tossed it on the ground as red smoke appeared. A few hours later, 6 and George landed on a platform and Carter was waiting. Kat needs your help, 6. George, go with 6. Kat says there's a bunch of signal jammers, Carter said. Yes, sir, 6 and George said. George hopped in the passenger seat while Marines held the cannons. 6 drove George and himself to each position to take out the jammers. Okay, everyone. I'm going to get rid of a couple lines so I don't get mixed up on those lines. And time for a water break. Okay, we're back. After escorting an ODST named Buck, helping Marines, and taking out the jammers, 6 piloted to where his HUD said to go, and 6 took out the turrets. After the turrets were down, 6 landed the Falcon. Noble team regrouped at a tower, and 6 was trying to find a signal. It used to be the crown jewel. Not anymore. You made it, June said. It's another family reunion, Emil said. So, is it true that Spartans are being deployed for traffic control? June asked. That's senior communication, Carter said to Kat. I hear what I hear. But what's the point? Kat asked. You want to know if we're losing? Carter asked. I know we're losing. I want to know if we've lost, Kat asked. A sound from the radio started playing. This is Colonel Holland. I'm deploying in Issue 5, Colonel Holland said. Is this a secure line? Carter asked. Not secure enough, Cat responded. Can they trace it? Carter asked. I could, Cat responded. Noble team, if you're there, respond, said Colonel Holland. Make it brief, Cat said, giving the mic to Carter. Carter here, Carter said. After a few seconds, Cat's eyes went big in shock. Radiation reading, big, Cat said. I just lost contact with Holland, Carter said. Energy rating, close. How close? Carter asked. A big shine of light blasted from the sky and broke the glass. That close! Noble Team stumbled, Cat asked. Noble Team then stumbled, but got up and ran to the elevators. George picked up Cat while she fell, and Six grabbed Cat's helmet. Six pressed the elevator button to go down, and now both elevators went down at the same time. So, with this, people say that another reason why Cat died was because she was alone and the elite had a shot at Cat, and if she pressed the button at the right time along with the other members of Noble Team, then she would have made it. And that might be it, so I'm saying, like, George or Six pressed the button so both elevators went down at the same time. First glassing, us too, George said, as he let Cat down. Sir, what Holland say? Cat asked. Holland wants us to go back to Sword Base, Carter said. Sword? That's Covenant territory, June said. That's why Command wants us for a simple burnt and debt mission. They don't want any of Halsey's research in Covenant hands, Carter said, as Noble Team got into the bunker. And so the elite who shot Cat was not just pulled up, and so since Noble Team was about all gone, he didn't have the shot, so Cat's alive, everyone. After the bunker doors closed, Noble called for a Pelican. When Noble 6 got to Sword Base, 6 checked the area he was in. Remember, try to be stealthy, 6, and tell us when you've taken out those cannons, Carter said. Ready, 6 said as he started heading towards Covenant troops with the 3 ODSTs. 6 and the ODSTs took out the cannons and made it to Sword Base's garage. While trying to fight their way to their position, one of the ODSTs got shot, but the ODST that got shot didn't make it. The 2 ODSTs and Noble Team went to the area of where their HUD said to go. Looks like they were cornered, June said. Or they were committed, Carter said. I'm going with cornered. There's nothing here, Emil stated. Dot, please re-advise, ordered. You are at re-advising, Dot said. By who? Carter asked. By an AI higher than me, Dot responded. Sir, the location we are getting is north of here and it's underground, one of the ODSTs said. I didn't bring my shovel, Commander, Emil said. Sir, I say we go AI free on this one. If we want to blow this place, this isn't the spot to do it, the ODST said. All of a sudden, the walls started opening and everyone stood ready to shoot. Dot, what's this? Cat asked. A revised route, Noble 2, Dot responded. Carter signaled for everyone to enter, but with caution. The teams awed a train and entered it. Dot, what's going on? Dot? Carter asked. She's been expecting you, Dot said, as a face on the TV showed itself. Mom. Reports said you were, George said as Halsey interrupted him. Yes, the reports about my death have been greatly exaggerated, but reports haven't been the same about you, though, Halsey said. Doctor, we are supposed to get, Carter said as Halsey interrupted him. The demolition will be handled by another group. Your orders were just to bring you to me, said Halsey. Only to confirm this with Carter said as he was interrupted by Halsey. Colonel Holland will be briefed later. You belong to Oni now, Halsey said. The elevator started heading down to show a massive structure. What is this? Emil asked. That, noble fort, is a structure from an ancient civilization, not human nor covenant. I'm currently getting its data, Halsey said, as a massive piece of ice grabbing everyone's attention. Dr. Halsey, have your data ready. We're heading to you, Carter said. No, I need more time, Halsey said. Panic in her tone could be heard pretty well. Doctor, you don't understand. If you don't have the data ready when we get to you, it's going to get buried, said Carter. Bury any of it, and you'll lose any chance of survival. Commander, you want to know what your Spartans nearly died for? This is it. Please, buy me all the time you have, Halsey begged. Carter and George and June didn't like that they'd been lied to, even for a mission for this important reason. But otherwise, Emil, Cat, the ODSTs, and Noble Six didn't really mind, especially with something this important. Anyway, Six ran to the turrets and turned them on as the Covenant started coming. Everyone got ready for the incoming forces, and with 6 Spartans and 2 ODSTs, in minutes the Covenant wave stopped. I got my data, Dr. Halsey said as she opened the doors. The Spartans and ODSTs ran in and did not stop till they saw a holographic room. What is this stuff? Cat asked. Knowledge from an ancient civilization, a birthright, and this AI is its custodian, and she has chosen you as her carriers, Dr. Halsey said, as she pressed buttons on an Oni desktop. Chosen by an AI? One of the ODSTs said. By this AI. Yes, her measure of you carries as much weight as my own, maybe even more. You are to take her to the UNSC ship-breaking yard in Azad. There you'll find a Holly-class cruiser waiting to get her off planet, Halsey said. I understand, Carter responded. Do you? Mankind is outmatched. When Reach falls, and it will fall, our annihilation is but certain. Unless we can glean from this artifact a defense against the Covenant, a game changer, on the level of conical bullet in the 19th century, or faster than light travel in the 23rd, Halsey said as she was interrupted by Carter. And what if we can't? Carter asked, and added a question if there was somewhere else to place our hope. There is not, Halsey said as she looked at the AI while June and I looked at the data flying past them. The holographic lady on the table disappeared, and Halsey pulled out a casing from the table and walked over to Noble 6. One second, everyone. I'm going to take a little water break and make sure I don't get messed up with lines. Alright, we're back. Oh. Sorry, everyone. I accidentally messed up. Oh. Take it, Lieutenant. She's made her choice, Halsey said as she handed the casing to Six. Six looked at Carter, whether deciding whether he should take it or hand it to Carter. But Carter nodded to take it. Six grabbed the casing, but Halsey didn't let go. Do you have it? Halsey asked. Yes, Six responded. Say the words, please, Halsey asked in a worried tone. I have it, Six said, as Dr. Halsey let go of the casing. After getting to the landing pad, Carter stopped and turned to Dr. Halsey. Doctor, the ODSTs will escort you to Castle Base, said Carter. I require no escort, Commander, protested Halsey. Make sure nothing falls into enemy hands, Carter orders. We'll do what's needed, sir. Good luck, one of the ODSTs said. You too, Carter said as Noble Team split up from the ODSTs. Dot, I need a heading, Carter ordered the AI. Head 3 kilometers north. Turn right at 05, which leads to the shipbreaking yards in Azad, the only off-planet extraction point left on this continent. Small-scale air attacks have decimated many convoys en route. An armada of Covenant cruisers is hastening to the site, as well as UNSC cruiser Pillar of Autumn is awaiting your arrival. Dot stated. It wouldn't be a noble mission if it was easy, Carter said as he flew the Pelican. Everyone on the Pelican saw the spot where the Forerunner structure was. Noble Team was surprised to see the massive landscape of ice crash down. After heading to Azad, a Phantom and 2 Banshees noticed the Pelican. Noble Team was being fired at. George had his minigun firing at the Phantoms, while Emil fired his grenade launcher. The Banshees were destroyed, but the Phantom was barely damaged, but was still following Noble Team's Pelican. Carter knew that if he'd try to land the Pelican, it would blow up from crashing or being fired at. Six got near the pilot seat and checked on Carter to see the plan forming in Carter's eyes. Get the package to the Autumn, Carter ordered. Done, Six responded. Not yet. Cat, Emil, go with him. It's a ground game now, Carter ordered. Copy, Cat said. Yes, sir, Emil said. George, June, and I will do what we can from up here, Carter said. Cat, Emil, and Six got ready to jump on Carter's mark. Carter counted down on when to jump. Mark! Carter yelled, and the Spartans jumped. And so, everyone, I think after that whole thing, the whole campaign is about the same. It's just that you have another Spartan with you, but Uh, 1 second. Okay, yeah. I think after this point, the rest of the campaign would be about the same, but you have Cat with you. So you have another Spartan standing by your side. And the Phantoms and Banshees are following the Pelican still, but are being shot at by June's sniper rifle and the minigun on the back of the Pelican. But before we get to the cutscene, or before the cutscene happens, George and June jump off the Pelican, and then they land in the middle of a firefight between Brutes, Grunts, and a couple Jackals. And so they tag along with you. And then they travel with you to the cutscene when you finish getting through the chasm, and then you see the Scarab. 1 second. Okay, after traveling through the chasms, you see a Scarab blocking your path. "Sir, we can get past this," said Emil. "No, you can't," Carter said. "Sir, you don't have the firepower," Emil stated. "I've got the mass," Carter said. "Solid copy. Hit 'em hard, boss." "Good luck, Noble," Carter said. Then the Pelican crashed into the Scarab, and the 5 Spartans watched as the Scarab went up in flames. The Spartans thought Carter died, but before the Pelican crashed everyone, Carter flew up a lot and then jumped out, ran out, and placed the Pelican on an autopilot so it pointed straight down when it was flying, and then Carter jumped out and ended right in the middle of a fight between Marines and Covenant troops. As the rest of Noble Team came out of the chasms, they noticed Carter and fighting alongside the Marines. Glad to see Carter was still alive. But Covenant reinforcements were showing up. The Spartans led the way for what was left of the Marines and helped take out a few ghosts and shade turrets. And Noble Team then got to a cargo platform with 2 hunters. Carter ordered the Marines to stand back while Noble Team took care of the hunters. Noble Team was able to take care of the hunters, and the Marines hurried to Noble Team. June took care of the Jackals on the railings, while Emil ran at an elite. Noble Team ran up the stairs to the second shelf with the Marines, but 6 saw Emil trying to dodge attacks from an energy sword. Emil saw 6 on top of the rail, and Emil decided to gamble his life on what he was about to do. 6 jumped off the railing as Emil took out his shoulder knife and threw it to 6. Emil's arm was sliced, but terribly injured, but not sliced off. And so Ix decided to stab Emil's knife inside of the elite's chest. Emil jumped out of the way when the elite fell, and when Six got up, Emil nodded at Six in approval. Six gave Emil back his knife, which Emil popped back in his shoulder. Noble Team just secured the landing platform as Emil and Six came to the platform. A Pelican came to the landing platform and carried several soldiers and a naval captain. "Good job, Spartans. Halsey assured me that I can trust you," Captain Keyes said. "Thank you, sir," Carter said. Keyes looked up and saw a Covenant cruiser. Marines, take out that cruiser or we're not getting out of here," Captain Keyes stated. So right here, when Keyes said to the Marines, there were actually all the Marines that were stuck in a firefight that the Noble Team saw, helped. They went to the cannon to make sure that if there was a problem, they could handle it. Anyway, "Roger that, sir. Get out of here, Spartans," a Marine on the cannon said. George was about to object, but he noticed that his HUD read Spartans John 117 and Linda. So George hopped onto the Pelican along with the